To solve an algebraic expression means to find the value of the variable in that algebraic expression. For example, if we have an expression like this, x plus 3 is equals to 5. Our variable in this expression is x. Now, to solve this expression means to find how much is the value of that x. So basically, that's what it means to solve an algebraic expression. I say it is to find the value of the variable in that expression. For example, for us to solve this equation, we are going to have to take this 3 on this side. We're going to take 3 on the other side of the equal sign. And why are we doing that? We are doing that to collect like terms. I think you can see that the 3 and the 5, they are like terms because both of them, they don't have a variable. So collect the like terms so that you are left with x on the other side. And then you have like terms on the other side, on the other side. Now, solving that, we are going to have x is equals to 5 minus 3. Now, a key critical point that you have to know here is, if you take a number and you take it on the other side of the equal sign, its sign is going to change. If you take a number and you are taking it on the other side of the equal sign, its sign is going to change. For example, we have a positive 3. So that positive 3, when it gets this side, it becomes a negative 3. So rewriting our equation, we are going to now have x is equals to 5 minus 3. Then it means you can now solve your equation. Then 5 minus 3 gives us a 2. So, which means solving this equation, we get the value of x as 2. Then I'll do another example, example number 2. Let's say we have y minus 2 is equals to 4. The question says solve y minus 2 is equals to 4. What that means is you are finding the value of y. How much is the value of your y? So to do that, you do the same thing, collect like terms. So take this negative 2 to this other side so that you now have like terms on one side. And then this side, it means you're going to be left with what you are interested in, which is the y. And that side, you're going to have 4 plus the 2. Remember what I said in the previous example, that if you are going to take a number and then you are going to take it on the other side of the equal sign, its sign is going to change. So it means we no longer have a negative 2 now. We now have a positive 2. And then that then gives us y equals 4 plus 2. And then you can simply solve that y is now equals to 6. Then example number 3, assume we have 2x plus 6 is equals to 10. We do the same thing. We are solving for x. So the first thing, collect like terms. Take your 6 to the side of 10, because 10 and 6, they are like terms. So it means this side, you're going to be left with a 2x, and that side, you're going to have 10 minus 6. The 6 becomes negative because it is positive, and you are taking it to the other side, so it becomes a negative. Now, solving this, we now have 2x is equals to 10 minus 6. 10 minus 6 is 4. So we now have 2x is equals to 4. But we want to find the value of x, not the value of 2x. We want to find the value of x, not the value of 2x. So what are we going to do now? So the next thing then that follows is divide your 2x by the coefficient of x, which is 2. Or alternatively, divide by everything that is attached to x that you are not interested in. You are interested in x, so you are not interested in finding the value of 2. So divide everything by 2. And then we do that both sides. Whatever you do on your left, you do on your right. Now, mathematically, if the numerator is the same as the denominator, they're going to cancel out. If the numerator and the denominator are the same, they cancel out. So it means you are now left with x is equals to 4 divided by 2, and 4 divided by 2 gives us a 2. So that's your final answer. Example number 4. 3y minus 5 is equals to 16. The variable in our equation is y. So we want to find what is the value of y. So to do that, we do the same thing that we have been doing, collect like terms. And if we collect like terms, this side we are going to be left with 3y, and this side we are going to have 16 plus 5. Then we are now going to have 3y is equals to 16 plus 5 gives us a 21. So it means now 3y is equals to 21. So you are looking for the value of y, not the value of 3y. So divide everything by the coefficient of y. The coefficient of y, which is 3. And we do that both sides. And I said, we now have fractions, both sides. And I now said, if your numerator and your denominator are the same, they're going to cancel out. If your numerator and your denominator are the same, they're going to cancel out, which means that side, you are now going to be left with a y. Then this side, you are now going to have 21 divided by 3. It's the 3, sorry, not a 2. So you are now going to have 21 divided by 3, and that is going to give us a 7. So the final answer is y is equals to 7. I'll do another example. Example number 5. Let's say we now have 2x plus 5 is equals to negative 10. We now have brackets. So earlier on I said, if you have brackets, the first thing that you have to do is remove those brackets. And we said the number that is outside the brackets multiplies everything that is inside the bracket. So the 2 outside the brackets multiplies the 2x, and the 2 also multiplies the 5. So rewriting our equation, we are now going to have 2 times 2x, we are going to have 4x. 2 times 5, we are going to have a 10. And then this is equals to negative 10. Then the next thing that follows is we collect like terms. So take that 10 that side. Collect like terms, because the negative 10 and the 10, they are like terms. So then rewriting our expression, we now have 4x is equals to negative 10 minus 10. Because this 10 is positive. So when it gets this side, it is going to become negative. So it means we now have 4x is equals to negative 10 minus 10, and that gives us negative 20. So we now want to find the value of x, not the value of 4x. So it means we are going to take our equation 4x is equals to 20, divide everything by 4. And that 4 is the coefficient of x. And we said, if that's the case, if the numerator and the denominator are the same, they are going to cancel out, which means we are now going to be left with an x here. Then 20 divided by 4 is a 5. That's our final answer. I will now do example number 6. 3x minus 2 is equals to 12. We do the same thing that we have done before. We remove the brackets. 3 outside the brackets multiplies everything that is inside the brackets. So it means we now have 3 times 3x, that gives us 9x. 3 times negative 2, that gives us negative 6. And everything is equals to 12. Then the next thing, collect like terms. Take the 6 that side. Then rewrite your expression. You now have 9x is equals to 12 plus 6. 9x is then equals to 18. Then remember, we are looking for the value of x, not the value of 9x. So we divide our 9x by the coefficient of 9x, which is 9, and we do that both sides. And then we said, if your denominator and your numerator are the same, they cancel out. So which means we are now left with an x, and then this side, we are now have 18 divided by 9. 18 divided by 9 gives us a 2. So that's the final answer. We now move on to example number 7, and we do the same thing that we have been doing. The same thing that we have been doing, even though it now looks like a totally different question from what we have been doing, but the concept remains the same. The concept is the same. Then, of course, we now have a different question. So we do the same thing. We start off by removing the brackets. The 4 outside here multiplies everything that is inside the bracket. So which means we now have 4 times x, that gives us 4x. 4 times negative 2, that gives us negative 8. Then we move on to this side. 2 multiplied by x, that gives us 2x. 2 multiplied by 3, that gives us a 6. And then everything is equals to 10. Then we do the same thing, collect like terms. Collect like terms. So you have a 4x there and a 2x there. Bring them to one side. Bring them to one side. Then you now have negative 8 and 6. Bring them together as well. So which means you now have negative 8 plus 6. Then everything is equals to 10. Then work out your like terms. Work out your like terms. We now have 4x plus 2x. That gives us a 6x. Then negative 8 plus 6. That gives us a negative 2. And everything is equals to 10. Continue collecting like terms again. Take the negative 2 that side. So it means our equation now becomes 6, sorry, our equation now becomes 6x is equals to 12. Because I get you are taking the negative 2 on the other side. So the negative 2 becomes a positive 2. And that positive 2, you add it to the 10 and it gives you the 12. So you now have 6x is equals to 12. So you are solving for x, divide everything by 6. And then we said the numerator and the denominator, they are the same, so they cancel out. So it means you are now left with an x is equals to 12 divided by 6. 12 divided by 6 gives us a 2. So that's your final answer. Then I'll do another example to help you understand more. Example number 8. 5, 2x minus 3 is equals to 15. We do the same thing first. Remove the brackets. The 5 outside the brackets multiplies everything that is inside the bracket. So we have 5 times 2x, that gives us 10x. 5 times negative 3, that gives us a negative 15. Then everything is equals to 15. So collect like terms, negative 15 has to go this side. So it means now you have 10x is equals to 15 plus 15. So remember the negative 15, when it gets on the other side of the equal sign, it becomes positive. So it means you now have 10x is equals to 15 plus 15. And that gives us 10x is equals to 30. Now, finding the value of x or solving for x, we now have 10x is equals to 30. We then divide by the coefficient of x, which is 10, and we do that both sides. The numerator and the denominator, they are both the same, so they cancel out. So it means our final answer is x is equals to 3. Then the next example number 9. 6, 4 minus 2x. 6, 4 minus 2x, close brackets, is equals to negative 12. We do the same thing. We start off by removing the brackets. The 6 multiplies everything that is inside the brackets. So we now have 6 times 4, which is 24. Then 6 times negative 2x, we get a negative 12x, and that gives us negative 12. Collect like terms. We do the same thing. Collect like terms, take your 24 that side. Taking the 24 that side, it means this side we are now left with a negative 12x, and that side we now have negative 12 minus 24. So we now have negative 12x is equals to negative 12 minus 24. It gives us a negative 36. Remember, we are looking for the value of x. So it means we have to take our negative 12x, which is equals to negative 36, and divide everything by negative 12. We are dividing everything by negative 12 because negative 12 is the coefficient of x, is the coefficient of what we are looking for. So we have to divide that by negative 12 so that the numerator and the denominator can cancel out, so that you are now left with an x here. Then negative 36 divided by negative 12, it gives us a positive 3. So which means your x is equals to 3. I will now do the very last example, which is example number 10. We now have x, 2 plus 2x is equals to 8 x minus 2. We do the same thing that we have been doing. Start off by removing the brackets. The 7 multiplies everything that is inside the brackets. So it means we now have 7 times 2, which is 14. Then 7 times 2x, we now have 14x. Then this is equals to, we do the same thing. This side, what is outside the brackets, multiplies everything that is inside the brackets. We have 8 times x. 8 times x gives us 8x. 8 times x gives us 8x, then 8 times -2 gives us a -16. Then we do the same thing, collect like terms. Collect like terms. We have an x here, we have an x here. So let's take this x that side. Then we have numbers that don't have variables. We have a 14 there and a -16 there. So take the 14 this side. Collect like terms. Take the 14 that side. We take the 14 that side. Then it means rewriting our equation. We now have 14x minus 8x is equals to -16 minus 14. So solving that, 14 minus 8 gives us 6x. 14x minus 8x gives us 6x. Then on the other side, -16 minus 14 gives us -30. So we are solving for x. So divide everything by 6, divide everything by 6. So the same thing happens. The numerator and the denominator are the same, so they cancel out. So it means we are left with an x is equals to -30 divided by 6. -30 divided by 6 gives us a -5.